Hi, everyone. Hello.
So Carol and I have worked together for quite a while, and I'd love to have her introduce herself and tell you a little bit about what kind of relationship we have, how we work together, and
Sure, no problem. So, Carol Heller, I lead Hotel Indigo, a brand at Intercontinental Hotel Groups and Resorts. If you're not familiar with the company, we have, I think there's a slide, but we have a family of 18 brands, over 6,000 hotels in 100 countries, and one of the largest hotel loyalty programs, IHG One Rewards. So my job is to, I'm vice president of one of the 18 brands, is to lead the global strategy, design, and guest experience for our 150 hotels. So exciting work, and exciting company that's purpose is to really drive true hospitality for good. So I've been there for about 10 years, and on one of the original brands I was working on, we were looking to invest in Crown Plaza, our largest premium brand, and really bring the brand into a bigger conversation, the cultural zeitgeist. So we were looking for an agency that was forward-looking, innovative, and could be partners to help us really do that at the same time drive value for the business. And we partnered with Al in 2016 to do that, and
it's been that long.
it's been that long.
Shit.
You've been, yes, and we've
Damn.
since then done many different things. And what we're going to talk about today are two of the most recent projects that we work on. And when you think about hospitality, we're a franchise organization, 6,000 hotels, so the people at our hotels deliver our brand promise, right? So it's the complexity of having to work within this model to deliver our brand promise, and how do we make sure that we're bringing not only our guests along and the consumers, but also our hotel team. So a couple examples we're going to show is how we do both. Okay, the first is we launched. So it's been interesting, as you can imagine, being in the hospitality hotel business over the past several years. And in 2020, obviously we felt the impact of the pandemic, but what's been exciting, we've really dug our heels in and been on the move and put a lot of big investments and big bets into some important things. So over the past 5 years, we've launched 5 new brands, and we've also launched the biggest launch we've ever done with our new IHG One Rewards loyalty program. So it was an entirely new loyalty program, entirely richer benefits, putting the customer at the center of how they use their benefits. So it's a really unique loyalty program in that way. And there was a lot for our hotels to learn about the new ways and the richer benefits that the guests had, the new ways that they could use them, and the choices that they had. And at the end of the day, being able to deliver that in a meaningful way to make a connection and get more of our guests into our loyalty program. So to do that, we not only trained them, obviously, did a lot of training to make sure they're equipped, but we also knowing that this was one of the biggest investments we've ever made, we wanted to also make a big impact to get them excited and engaged. So I think this might be the only direct mail piece you'll see at CES, but it was, if you think about, we're working with the front desk agents, we're working with the hotel teams, and for us to get in front of them with an exciting experience in a scalable way, in a fast way, this was our solution that really brought together the tech world and kind of the old school direct mail world. So do you want to describe it?
I'll just kind of give you a little bit of a sense. And it's funny, you're at CS and you're actually pulling up a mailer. But what's interesting about this is that the fact that you can touch and hold something along with technology. So here, we're activating QR codes, and then we're activating augmented reality throughout this entire experience. So the top images there, you can actually see it's an actual printed collateral material. But then once you've activated the QR code through your mobile phone, you actually spawn up the president of IHG talking about the new rewards program. Each of these little cards here allows you to travel to each of these destinations in full 360 and really get a true immersive experience of what the new rewards program has to offer. So this idea of mixing traditional content with innovative immersive technology is something that we're constantly looking at Coffee. We're thrilled to do this with Carol and her team.
And we also gamified it too. There was learning involved in this AR experience, and then gamifying it with different selfies you could take along the way to sign up for big rewards. So it was this full integrated program to get our hotels excited, get them engaged, and really grab their attention on what was really the most important launch that we've had.
Yeah, and I think one of the challenges that comes up with something like this is the ability of being able to measure engagement. And at the end of the day, it was just about seeing how these franchise owners, how are they really engaging with this content? And the fact is we have the ability to measure, as we all know, which hotel property is fully immersed, which one hasn't even opened it, gives us an opportunity to go back to them, contact them, make sure that they did receive the kit, are they getting a better understanding of what the new rewards program is, gives them, Carol and her team, a better understanding of does this type of unit have the type of impact that it's meant to have. So the return on investment on something like this is also the ability to measure the results,
Yeah.
which is an important part.
Agree. And it was fun, right? Like at the end of the day, when you're traveling, you want to have fun. So we wanted to give that spirit to our hotel teams and have them have fun with this new program too.
So the next program we're presently working with Carol and her team as well. This is for Hotel Indigo. And
Sure. So a challenge, I don't know if anyone stayed at Hotel Indigo, but a challenge we have, Hotel Indigo is a storytelling brand. And every hotel is built from the ground up based on this bespoke neighborhood story that we write around what makes that neighborhood truly special, kind of the heart and soul of that neighborhood. And then literally all the design is based around that story. And we were seeing people leave. I don't know if you've been to Lower East Side. It's the story of the subway to the gallery, of the growth of graffiti art, to Lower East Side with the hats, the fedora hats from the Rose Parade that used to begin down there. So people were loving our design, but leaving being like, why the heck were there hats in the lobby? Like, what's that all about? So not connecting that story. And what that story ultimately is trying to do is get our guests out, exploring the neighborhood in a really real way. Because we know what's important to our guests is getting immersed in that culture, getting the kind of the inside scoop from a trusted source on what to do while they're with us. So what we wanted to do is use technology, again, to help solve this problem, to help guests understand, even before they come to our properties, what our properties are all about, build that trust and build the sale. And then when they come in, to have that a more immersive experience, as well as how can we guide them to get out in the neighborhood based on our hotel's recommendation from our trusted source. So this solution is really twofold in that way.
Yeah. So part of the solutions is this idea of being able to tell the neighborhood story, but also showcase the properties. So in this experience, which by the way is a global experience, and it's showcasing both featured properties as well as the neighborhood story. So in this case here, as Carol mentioned, being able to tell each individual story through a mobile experience as well as desktop really allows the user to get a better understanding before they ever even show up to a Hotel Indigo, either in Lower East Side or Dubai or wherever they may be. So telling that story was always part of the mission. And the funny thing about this is when we started kicking around this idea, we really didn't understand the magnitude that something like this would have. But it really pleasantly surprised. It's mushroomed into something quite larger than what we had originally hoped. And in fact, on this one here, being able to navigate in 360 each of the neighborhood stories. So if you're in Lower East Side and you want to go visit Katz Deli, before you ever even get on a plane, you can actually navigate that experience, get an understanding, get familiarized with your surroundings, which is a big part of what we're talking to IHG about.
Right. So that neighborhood tour, right, to make that more rich.
So a lot of 360 content, a lot of interactive hotspots, real true immersive engagement. So it's not just showing pretty pictures, but it's actually showing content on a whole different level. So trends in travel, I think that's one of the topics we wanted to cover off on a bit. And I think, you want me to cover this?
You can cover it, yeah.
Yeah, so on this one here, one of the big topics that we're looking at, we're spending quite a bit of time at, is wayfinding, is really looking at how augmented reality is going to influence wayfinding in a big, big way. I think a lot of us who've played around with wayfinding for different pieces of business can see the potential, and this is an important one for us. Being able to see the magnitude of being able to go to a different destination, seeing how augmented reality will enhance your viewing experience prior to ever showing up becomes a real reality for us. And I think that's becoming more and more a reality for the types of projects we're putting out there for clients. Another topic that we look at all the time as well is the impact that when you're looking at business travel or you're looking at leisure travel, this concept of having an AI assistant helping you to plan a meeting. For example, we're at a meeting today. Someone helped plan all of this. Well, with the input and the assistance of AI, these meetings start to feel a little different. The personalization becomes more relevant. And that's something we're looking at Coffee constantly is how does AI impact your planning process, both the short term and long term. So that's also going to be something we're looking at quite carefully, and how AI and AR, all of these different technologies coming together to provide a more personalized and more customized experience for each consumer.
Yeah, and I think too, I think there's the technology before you get in the hotel, but then actually when you get in the hotel. So now with since the pandemic, we've seen it's fundamentally changed. So guests are traveling different. So there's a lot of nomads, right? So I can work from anywhere. So why stay home? Why don't I get out and travel? So I need that flexibility in the technology where I'm traveling to. And then we also see a lot of blended travel. So I'm going on a business trip. I can work virtually Thursday, Friday, and then I can be with my family over the weekend and have that blended experience. But also for the meetings are more hybrid and having the need for the right technology. We have a Meet with Confidence program that we launched in 2020 to have the right technology, to have those turnkey hybrid meetings from anywhere to connect people from anywhere. So the ongoing needs of on property, but also off property.
Yeah, I think those are all great points. And again, what we tend to do and the way we interact with clients is we tend to see what they're doing. We try to react. We try to be proactive, try to look at what types of trends they're going after, and then we'll be reactive to that. What types of technologies we can recommend to them. So even if they're not thinking about it, we can start sort of sprinkling in a few ideas here and there and get them inspired about thinking about how to advance a project. Just like what we did with Hotel Indigo. We're looking at phase 2 and phase 3 of that already. We haven't even launched it officially, but we're already starting to think about how do we advance that type of program? How do we turn it into something even bigger, even more relevant? In fact, quite interesting, that whole Hotel Indigo initiative is now being looked at from all IHG properties as a potential bigger initiative. So we're excited about where that might be going as well. So I think, so yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it from our side. Any questions, any thoughts about anything? Okay. Sure.
I can talk a little bit about from IHG and then you can talk. So I think personalization is really important. I don't know if y'all have seen our new big campaign for IHG One Rewards is Guest How You Guest. And I think when we looked at, we put the customer and the data at the center of everything we do. And so I think what makes our loyalty program different is that customization. So I get points and then I'm able to use it for food and beverage or upgrade or club access. Like I get to choose what I'm using my points for. So that's one example of how we see that. But I think it's always important, and the higher you go up in the chain scale, the more important it becomes. And then just the good old-fashioned personalization. Like at the end of the day, take technology out of it, it's about the service. Real people serving real people and having that personal connection and interaction and remembering that customer coming back. I know that wasn't your question, but I think that's fundamentally what makes hospitality special.
I think that's a great point. And when we talk about personalization, we understand all the fine nuances when it comes to security and how people feel about that. But something we've been looking at Coffee for quite a while now is we feel that users and consumers feel good about providing personal information when the reward is there. You can't just provide information and not expect anything back. So if the reward is significant enough, then you will start to offer up some more information. And by the way, how you collect that personal information also needs to be somewhat seamless, and that's something we're looking at as well. So between securing that personal information and also providing a service back to that end user. I mentioned earlier with AI being, I think, a huge influence as we start moving forward. I really believe that personalized information, if you're getting back an itinerary that's highly personalized, it's on point with what you need, you're going to start playing with that concept, and I think you're going to start moving a bit further into that and using that type of thinking a little bit more as time goes by. So personalization, I think, is going to be evolving in a big way, used in a lot of different ways. Did you have a question?
You hit on this at the end of your answer about this really being a service. Obviously, is the most important
Yeah.
thing in hospitality. I'm really curious with all that we're talking about here this week is how do we leverage technology to have a consistent experience across all those 150 hotels over here? So how does that
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a really great question. And I'm not in technology. I'll just give you that disclaimer. But I think I see us using technology as much, if not more, behind the scenes. And it's how we train and how we deliver the digital training in a new and fresh way. But also, for instance, partnering with text partners. So think about problem resolution is a huge aspect of our guest experience. So if we can solve a problem on the spot for someone, that's big. Also customization, or sorry, technology in terms of how do we know who's showing up, what they've done before, what they like. So there's so many ways. How do we make our housekeeping keepers more efficient by the checkout, knowing what checkout? There's so many ways. I mean, it's funny. We sit in our owner committee meetings and talk about like robots delivering things, but it's really not that flashy technology. It's what makes things more efficient behind the scenes for our teams, because right now, it's no secret, staffing is like labor is a massive issue. So it's not technology, in my opinion, won't ever replace that human connection that you can't be in hospitality without delivering. But how do we enable those people to do a better job behind the scenes with technology? So 100%, that's truly important.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a great point. And then one thing I'll also say too is, the ability to measure how people's behaviors are with technology is super important. Again, going back to the Indigo program, understanding how a person visits a hotel, what do they actually use, which parts of that experience do they actually tap into. We have a lot of that data. And when we go back and do a retargeting program to them, having that information in our hands allows us to go back to them and say, hey, how did you enjoy Cat's Deli? We know you actually explored that, or at least you explored it virtually. Having that type of personal information, again, not all properties are able to do that today, but I think it's coming fast. I think when you get handed that information that a consumer went to New York Lower East Side and they went to X, Y, and Z locations, being able to go back to them and ask them how they enjoyed X, Y, or Z locations, that personalization, I think, goes a long way in building a bigger relationship with consumers. That's not just in travel, by the way. That's in every category that we're working across. So, any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you so much.
You. Thank you. Oh, you have a question?
Do you have a question?
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much.
That's right.
Yes. No. Yeah, check more of them out. You can learn about a lot of different neighborhoods. 150, but yeah, we're the largest global lifestyle brand hotel, honestly, when you think about boutique brands. So, yeah, it's exciting. Thank you so much. Correct. We're in the luxury lifestyle portfolio within IHG. Yeah. That is a good question, but that's maybe an Audi, but that's a great question, and we also have credit cards, so Mastercard. We have obviously an IHG One Rewards, so we also consumer data is obviously at the center of everything we do, and how we target our guests and get them at the right moment, at the right time, with the right message, just like probably everyone in here does. But yes, so yeah, that's a big part of IHG at large. Awesome.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.